It started with a single sentence that destroyed a man's dream in front of dozens of people. The CEO stepped out of her luxury sedan, glanced at the small neighborhood garage with peeling paint and oil-stained concrete, and laughed before calling it nothing but trash that would never deserve to exist beside her company's glittering showroom. Mechanics stopped working. Customers froze. A father who had spent 20 years building that humble place simply lowered his eyes while his teenage daughter silently wiped tears from her face. 6 months later, the same executives who had mocked that garage were standing in line, offering millions to buy it, because what they had once dismissed as worthless had become the most talked-about automotive workshop in the country. If you believe kindness is stronger than pride, forgiveness is more powerful than revenge, and everyone deserves a second chance, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel to become part of our growing family. Rowan Mercer had never dreamed of becoming famous. At 48, he wanted only enough work to keep the lights on, enough customers to pay his 3 mechanics, and enough peace to raise his 16-year-old daughter, Clara, after losing his wife to cancer 7 years earlier. Every morning before sunrise colored the sky, Rowan unlocked Mercer Auto Works with the same worn brass key he had carried for 2 decades. By the time daylight spread across the street, engines were already humming, coffee was brewing in chipped mugs, and the smell of fresh motor oil mixed with determination. His garage was old, uneven, and visibly worn, but inside those faded walls lived something no amount of polished marble could replace. Every repair carried honesty. Every customer left knowing they had been treated fairly. Rowan believed that a person's reputation was built one promise at a time. Just 3 blocks away, construction crews finished the city's newest luxury automotive palace, owned by Sterling Velocity Group, led by its celebrated CEO, Vivian Caldwell. She had built her reputation on perfection, exclusivity, and uncompromising standards. Business magazines praised her relentless ambition. Investors admired her sharp instincts. Employees respected her discipline, but many quietly feared her inability to see value in anything imperfect. To Vivian, appearances reflected excellence, and excellence demanded expensive surroundings. On the morning of the grand opening, reporters crowded outside the shining glass building while cameras followed Vivian as she toured the property. Everything unfolded flawlessly until she noticed the aging garage directly across the boulevard. Its faded sign stood in uncomfortable contrast to her luxurious dealership. The local mayor casually mentioned that Mercer Auto Works had served families for decades and had earned the community's trust. Instead of appreciating the compliment, Vivian smiled with quiet arrogance and declared loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear that such a trash garage belonged in another era and lowered the image of the neighborhood. The word spread across social media before lunchtime. For Rowan, the insult hurt less than watching Clara pretend it hadn't affected her. She had spent every weekend helping her father repaint walls, organize tools, and greet customers with a smile. Seeing strangers online mocking the garage because of one wealthy executive's opinion broke something inside her. Yet Rowan refused to respond with anger. He simply kept working. The following weeks became difficult. Some new customers canceled appointments after reading cruel comments online. A few suppliers quietly shifted their attention towards Sterling Velocity Group. Rowan's income dropped. Bills piled higher. Several evenings ended with him studying unpaid invoices while wondering whether 20 years of honest work were disappearing because of a careless remark. Still, every sunrise found him opening the garage again. One bright afternoon, an elderly couple arrived with an aging convertible that several luxury dealerships had refused to repair because replacement parts were considered too difficult to source. Rowan examined the vehicle patiently, searched through forgotten suppliers, restored damaged components by hand, and returned the car looking almost new. The grateful couple shared photographs online, praising not only the craftsmanship but the kindness they experienced. Then another customer posted a story. Then another. A young nurse explained how Rowan refused to charge her after discovering she could barely afford the repair needed to reach work safely. A retired firefighter described how Mercer Auto Works repaired his truck for half the quoted price because Rowan believed gratitude mattered more than profit. Parents praised how he never exaggerated repair costs. Small stories became thousands of conversations. without realizing it, Rowan had started something far greater than a business. He had reminded people what genuine service looked like. One afternoon, a well-known automotive engineer named Graham Ellison experienced engine trouble while passing through town. Every luxury dealership recommended replacing the entire performance engine at enormous cost. Rowan spent hours diagnosing the issue and discovered that a tiny overlooked component worth less than $20 had caused the problem. Instead of billing thousands, he charged only for the actual repair. Graham was astonished. As president of an international association of restoration specialists, Graham possessed influence far beyond Rowan's imagination. He published a detailed article explaining how Mercer Auto Works represented everything the automotive industry had forgotten: honesty, precision, humility, and craftsmanship. The article spread rapidly. Car collectors began arriving from neighboring states, classic vehicles appeared outside the garage, television crews requested interviews. Automotive enthusiasts uploaded videos showing impossible restorations completed inside the tiny workshop everyone had once mocked. 6 months after the public humiliation, Mercer Auto Works had a waiting list stretching nearly a year. Meanwhile, trouble quietly grew inside Sterling Velocity Group. Customers complained about inflated repair estimates. Former employees revealed pressure to maximize profits over customer satisfaction. Independent reviewers compared luxury invoices against Rowan's transparent pricing, exposing uncomfortable differences. Vivian watched as trust slowly shifted away from polished showrooms toward an old garage with cracked concrete. Her frustration turned into disbelief when prestigious manufacturers contacted Rowan directly, asking whether he would become their certified restoration partner. The greatest shock arrived during the National Heritage Auto Exhibition held entirely during a sunny autumn afternoon. Dozens of restored classic vehicles competed for the country's highest restoration honor. Against workshops with enormous budgets and state-of-the-art facilities, Mercer Auto Works entered a weathered 1968 Roadster that Rowan and his small team had painstakingly rebuilt over 4 months. Judges examined every detail, every weld, every panel alignment, every engine component, every handcrafted finish. When the results were announced, Mercer Auto Works earned the highest score in the competition's history. The audience rose together in applause. Television cameras searched for Rowan, who stood quietly beside Clara with grease still beneath his fingernails. That he accepted the award without boasting. That he thanked his mechanics. That he thanked every customer who had trusted them. Most of all, he thanked his late wife, saying that every lesson about kindness still guided every decision inside the garage they had built together. Millions watched the speech. The next morning, luxury dealers from across North America began calling. Some wanted partnerships, others offered investments, several proposed purchasing Mercer Auto Works entirely. The largest offer exceeded $100 million. Rowan declined every one. Money had never been the purpose. That he wanted the garage to remain exactly what it had always been, a place where ordinary people were treated with extraordinary respect. Vivian struggled to understand why someone would reject unimaginable wealth. Her board of directors insisted she meet Rowan personally. For the first time in her career, she walked across the street without television cameras, photographers, or assistants. The once busy dealership behind her no longer attracted the admiration it once enjoyed. While Mercer Auto Works overflowed with grateful customers, she paused outside the same building she had publicly called trash. Only now she noticed details she had ignored before: children laughing while waiting with their parents, employees smiling naturally instead of forcing polite expressions, customers bringing homemade cookies, handwritten thank you cards covering an entire wall, photographs of restored family vehicles displayed beside letters describing weddings, graduations, military homecomings, and cross-country adventures made possible because Rowan had helped keep cherished cars alive. The garage had never simply repaired machines. It had preserved memories. Vivian felt a weight she had never experienced during board meetings or shareholder presentations. Rowan welcomed her exactly as he welcomed everyone else. There was no bitterness in his face. No satisfaction in her embarrassment, only calm dignity. Vivian apologized sincerely for judging a place without understanding the people inside it. She admitted that success had slowly convinced her appearances mattered more than character, and by chasing perfection she had forgotten compassion. Rowan listened quietly. He explained that damaged reputations healed much like damaged engines. The repair always started by admitting something was broken. Those words stayed with Vivian long after she left. instead of trying to buy Mercer Auto Works, she transformed Sterling Velocity Group from within. She introduced transparent pricing, customer advocacy programs, employee recognition initiatives, apprenticeship scholarships, and community repair days where struggling families received free vehicle inspections. Many executives resisted, some resigned, others embraced the changes. Slowly, trust returned. Months later, Vivian invited Rowan to speak before her leadership team. He did not lecture them about business strategies. He spoke about promises. He explained that every invoice represented a family's budget, every repair affected someone's safety, and every customer deserved honesty regardless of the value of the vehicle they drove. Silence filled the room because everyone knew those simple truths had been forgotten. Clara watched proudly from the audience, realizing her father's greatest achievement had never been restoring cars. It had been restoring people's faith in decency. The old garage remained exactly where it had always stood. The paint was fresher now, the equipment more modern, and the waiting list longer than anyone imagined, but Rowan refused to replace the handmade wooden sign hanging above the entrance. It reminded him of every difficult year, every sacrifice, every lesson earned through perseverance rather than privilege. Across the boulevard, Sterling Velocity Group also looked different. Not because the building had changed, but because the people inside had. Competition had become mutual respect, arrogance had become humility, profit had finally learned to stand beside integrity. Before this story comes to its close, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment sharing whether you believe humility can change a person's life, or tell us about a time when someone underestimated you and how you proved them wrong through patience instead of revenge. Years later, visitors often asked Rowan why he never sold the garage when the offers could have made him one of the wealthiest businessmen in the country. He would simply smile, glance around the busy workshop filled with grateful customers, hardworking mechanics, and his now-grown daughter confidently leading the next generation of apprentices, and quietly remember the day someone called it trash. Without hatred, without resentment, he realized those painful words had become the spark that revealed the true value of something money could never measure. Buildings can be polished, brands can be advertised, and fortunes can rise or disappear, but honesty, compassion, and quiet perseverance create a legacy that no price tag can ever buy. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Remember that people may overlook your appearance, your beginnings, or your circumstances, but they can never stop kindness, integrity, and relentless determination from changing your future. Sometimes the world calls your dream trash simply because it cannot yet see the treasure hidden inside it.